I've talked a lot so far about success on this channel and how to be successful, how to get better in life. There's so many rules and tips and tricks out there that people can follow to become successful. And I was thinking there must be an easier, simpler way to crystallize all of that together. All those rules and strategies and tactics to become successful. And I found it. There's actually a very simple but very effective way of becoming more successful. Very simple. And it's simply this. Do the opposite of what everybody else does. Now when I say everybody else, I'm talking about your average person. Now, average is a subjective thing. Everyone has a different idea of average, but when I think of average, I think of your average 9 to 5 working, average body, average social life, average relationship, average income earning person. That type of person is just doing everything average. Now, average doesn't just refer to people, it can refer to many other things in life. I mean, the world is filled with average service, average products, average relationships, average workouts, average attitudes. So if you want to become successful, if you want to live an extraordinary life, all you need to do is do the complete opposite of what everybody else is doing. Now, let's go a bit deeper with that. What exactly do I mean by that? Well, I'll give you a few examples. Let's say, number one, you don't get a university degree. Now, this is something that may rankle a lot of people, especially those who do have university degrees and have good steady jobs. Now, for those of you you're happy with that, well, fine, more power to you. But if you want a successful life, outrageously successful life, a university degree is not required. You do not need it. Unfortunately, we have that idea shoved down our throats from the moment we enter school. We're told once we get to high school, then we're going to go straight to university, we're going to get a degree, we're going to get a job, we're going to move up the company, and we're going to get better pay, and we'll retire, and we can do whatever we want. And that's a quote-unquote successful life. It's bullshit. That's an average life. If you want a successful life, then forget that path. Go down a different road. Start your own company. Take that time off after school. Travel the world. Volunteer. Find a need in society and fulfill it. Rather than take a job. I mean, everybody takes a job. Everybody does that. How many people do you know take that job because they love it or because they really want to? I would put money on the fact that most of those people that you know are doing it just because they need a paycheck. Those sort of jobs will always be there. Trust me, they'll always be there. Doesn't matter what the media says about automation and robots taking over the world. Forget all that. There'll always be a particular need for people to do fairly medium, more low to medium skilled jobs. They'll always be there. But your life won't be. Your time won't be. And do you really want to be saddled with all that debt that most students pay? Forget that. Don't worry about that. Go out and do your own thing instead. Which brings me to my next point. Number 2 example, don't get a job. When I say job, I mean your average job, your JOB, just over broke. Do you really want to work for somebody else? Because that's essentially what you're doing. You're helping them fulfill their dreams. Now, obviously, people are required to work for companies. Companies can't function without them. But most people, because they're not thinking outside the box, they'll go down that road. But do you want it? I mean, if you want to be successful, forget that. You want to do something different with your career? 2 things. 1, start your own company. Start your own business. Find a need in society and fulfill it. Find a problem that exists, that hasn't been solved, that hasn't been cornered by the market, that hasn't yet had a easy, practical solution. And go build a business around that. Or take something that you love and do your best to monetize it. Now, if you go down that road, where it's a passion project, just be prepared that it's going to be a hard road and there's going to be times where you probably won't be able to make ends meet. That will happen. But I can guarantee that the passion that you have for that will see you through the hardest of times. So, the third thing that we need to consider if we want to live extraordinary lives, and it's something that I think is probably the easiest thing to become successful, is to not spend your free time the way the average person does. How do they do that? Usually they have their faces buried in TV, on their smartphones, on a computer screen, on YouTube, like this. Or they're sedating themselves with drugs, alcohol, junk food. All you need to do is do the opposite. You do the opposite of that, you'll be 10 times better than the average person. You'll be healthier, you'll be fitter, you'll be stronger, you'll have more energy. You'll be able to do much more activity than the average person. Now, that's the physical side of it. There's also the mental side of it. Work on developing yourself when you have free time. Even if you do have a job, take that time and go and learn new skills. Harness your skills. Work on your craft. Develop yourself. Use that time wisely, because you never get enough of it. The last thing I have for you is something that you can implement straight away. And that is, choose to be happy. Most people are running around choosing to live unhappy lives. They choose that. They don't even realize that, but they're choosing it. How do they choose it? With all the negative self-talk. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, that's too much for me. Oh, why does this always happen to me? Why can't I succeed in anything? You can't succeed in anything because A, you're asking the wrong questions, and B, you're not doing anything about your situation. You're just complaining. So you know what you can do to make yourself better, to make your day better? Choose to be happy. Be happy right now. It's free and it's simple. You don't have to pay for it. You don't have to work that hard for it. You just change your thinking. That's it. I'm going to be happy right now. I don't care what's happening. I don't care. I'm just going to be happy. I'm going to find a way to be happy. Whatever that is for you. Find that and go with it. You don't have to live your life being unhappy. You don't have to live your life fulfilling someone else's narrative. That being that you need to struggle. You need to feel down about yourself. You need to be hard on yourself constantly in order to get to happiness. You don't. You just choose to be happy right now and you live accordingly. So, right now what I'd like you to do is to start implementing these things into your life. Now, you implement the things that are the opposite of what everybody else does. Simple. I've just given you a few examples, but there are many things that you could do in your life to get the complete opposite results of what everyone else is getting. It's very simple. You just do what they're not doing. And you live a far happier, peaceful and successful life. So, get out there, get amongst it, get after it, and become the best version of yourself.